we're going to have 3 full days of information for you. And if you allow it, it can truly change the trajectory of your business and of your life. How do I know? It's happened. It's happened not just to me, but to many people. And so it's really going to be a full 3 days of being able to identify where we are right now. And then obviously, how do we get to where we want to go in our real estate businesses? So what today is going to look like is we're going to discover our identity, and not just who we are today, but also the identity of what we want. Where do I want to go in my life and in my business? And then tomorrow we're really going to talk about being that version of us, and what does that look like, and how do we make space for the things we love and the business that we want. So we're really going to get into the nitty-gritty of that. We're also going to talk about some really great ideas of how to build a business in the way that you desire to build it. You're going to hear from somebody that has absolutely quantum leaped herself and her business life in all areas through the coaching. And so we're going to let you know how that goes and give you some good tips on how to do the same type of thing. I have had some inboxes and some questions about my programs that I offer. And I really want to not even touch on that, at least in day 1 and day 2. Day 3, I will touch on that. Okay, so I want the first couple days to give the utmost value that we can give. I'm here to pour into you, to give you value. And then on day 3, know that I will talk about the programs that I offer. We'll also talk about like some really beautiful creative ways in order to make sure that you're standing out from the competition. We're going to kind of put it all together in this beautiful bow for you and have you walk out with some great knowledge, not just on real estate, but on your desires and your business and what you want that to look like for you. Sound good? Great. Okay, so let's get started, and then we might just have people come in. If that is a distraction to you, go ahead and just put it on speaker view rather than gallery view up in the upper right-hand corner. So there's a gallery view, there's a speaker view. It's totally up to you. I will be checking the chat throughout the 3 days. So if you have a question or you have a comment or you want to say something, throw it in the chat. Okay, that way I will go ahead and be able to get those questions for you. The Saturday is also going to look more like a Q&A as well. So if I don't get to all the questions that you have right now, I will get to those. We will answer those on Saturday too. So for those of you that don't know me, allow me to introduce myself and then we'll get started. So first of all, it's lovely to see all of you. If you have the ability to turn your camera on, I would love that. It is very difficult to coach to a black screen. So if you have the ability to have your camera on, that is kind of like, for me, you're sitting in the front of the room. If you don't have your camera on, sometimes you're kind of hiding in the back of the room. And that's something to ask yourself right there. Why? Why do I sit in the back of the room? Why do I not have my camera on? So if you can, great. If you can't, I'm just grateful you're here, and that is absolutely fine too. So for those of you that don't know, my name is, it's Brooke Pashier. So that's kind of a crazy thing for me because I was just married this summer to my husband, Josh, and we have blended our family of 7. So combined, we have 5 children, ages 10 through 21. It's been a whirlwind of a year, which is absolutely beautiful and amazing. I did get into real estate in 2010. So if any of you are aware of what was going on in 2010 in the market, people were telling me I was crazy, and I just didn't know what that meant. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know why you think I'm crazy for getting into real estate in 2010. But apparently it was not a great market. I just didn't know any different, okay? So the thing is, when I got into real estate in 2010, I was a single mom. So my kids were 4 and 6. And I had no choice but to try and make this work. Okay, so I had an education. I, had a little bit of a sales background. I had a great big why to want to make sure that I was able to provide for my children and for my family. But I held on to an identity that was not something I would describe as a successful businesswoman. I held on to an identity when I entered real estate as broken. I have no money. I'm a single mom. I probably won't amount to be much. We're going to give this a go. So I held on to that identity of feeling broken. For the first 6 months of my real estate career, I waited tables just to make ends meet, pay the dues, all the things. And honest to God, did not even have a closing until the first 6 months of my career. So if you've had a slow go, let me let you know right now that is not defined of where you're going. It does not define where you're going to be in your real estate career. When I first got into real estate, also my mom was a closer for a title company, and she was in my office. So as a single mom, my mom was also a co-parent of mine. So she was there to help me. She was there to make sure that the kids were covered. She also knew that this girl here defined herself and held the identity of broken. So every day she would come into my office and it was, hey, how are you doing today? Do you have enough money for the bills? Do you need half my sandwich? Do you need me to pick up the kids? Is everything okay? I would go on my way to appointments and she was the one saying to me, Brooke, you got this. Brooke, of course they're going to want to list with you. Of course you're going to make sure that, like, of course you're going to get that client under contract. She was the voice for me in every way. She was the encouragement. I also always had a business coach. So what I couldn't see in myself, my business coach could. Business coaching is very much processes, systems, the doing part of everything. It could bring me to a certain level of my business with the identity that I held, but it could not bring me to where I was really capable. Fast forward to 2015, years of my mom being my co-parent, years of my mom being my biggest cheerleader, years of my mom making sure I was not going to fall on the ground. She was basically in every area of my life. 2015, I lost her. She was killed in a car accident. And my world was rocked. I did not know how I was going to make things happen without my mom there to pick me up. After about the 8-month fog, after my mom had passed away, I remember being in my car and heading to listing appointments and heading out with buyers. And I found myself talking to her. I found myself saying, hey, Mom, I'm going on a listing appointment. And I eventually found myself saying to myself what she would say to me. You got this. Of course they're going to want to list with you. You have everything it takes to be able to do this. And my inner dialogue started to change. After my inner dialogue started to change and I started saying those things to myself and believing it because I had to, I didn't have anyone else there to say it to me, my business grew. My business grew to the point of that I eventually ended up growing a team. We were consistently a top producing team in our market. And it was after that I was at a team dinner with, I was taking my team out to dinner to celebrate the holidays. And I ran into a mentor of mine who had become a coach for Bob Proctor. If you don't know who Bob Proctor is old guy on The Secret. He's a mindset. He was fantastic. He's since passed, but he was a coach with Bob Proctor. And I ran into him at this dinner. And the minute I saw him, I knew something was different. I said, whatever it is that you're doing, I'm going to do it. So it was right before the pandemic. I ended up enrolling in this Bob Proctor program. And it was there that I found out what kind of mindset I have. It was there that I found out why business coaches could only take my business so far. It was there that I discovered what is stopping me from building the business that I want. What is stopping me from having the dream life that I want? What is stopping me from feeling like I'm worthy of all the things that I desire? And I started to really go in rather than looking for the outside of what was going to be able to help me live the life that I wanted. After that, of course, the pandemic happened. I ended up publishing and writing a book. And that was something that I desired to do. And through this coaching, I finally had the feeling of, okay, this is the time. I also became a certified coach and speaker with John C. Maxwell. And during that time, I was switched brokerages and was coaching within one office at this brokerage. At that time, I started with like 6 or 7 agents. And within 6 weeks of standing on stage, promoting this program to all 45 offices, and started coaching agents of all levels in both Michigan, Indiana, and throughout these 45 offices. I literally coached hundreds of agents to success. And I tell you that because I need you to know how effective this is. Many of them are in the top 1% of their markets. So it's one of those things where coaching or growing or pouring into yourself, there is no end. It's just one of those things that we're constantly evolving. We're constantly growing. Last June, I became part of another coaching program, which really kind of helped me tap into spirituality, manifestation. That might be a little bit of an odd word for some of you. Some of us are not used to that word. And really what that is it's just understanding that our thoughts become things. I really started tapping into that, and another quantum leap started to happen. I knew I wanted to reach more people through coaching. I knew I wanted to have my own company. Both my husband and I now own Uncaged Potential Coaching, and here we are launching with you beautiful people and just pouring into you and giving value. Okay, so here's what I want us to understand. We all are here to grow and expand. And if there is this feeling of disconnect with that, or that you're feeling, not content right now in your real estate business or in your life, it is simply because we're holding on to the identity of the version of us that does not yet have what it is that we desire. So that's the first thing that we want to understand. If we're holding on to an identity of the way that I was, I'm broke, I'm broken, paying bills is hard, running a real estate business is hard. If I'm hanging on to that identity of not being worthy, of holding on to the past, of taking old stories that no longer serve me, then building a great real estate business with ease and doing the thing that I love to do so, that feels hard. That feels really hard to do. So in order to have it feel easier and actually quantum leap your results, first thing that we have to do is change the identity that we hold of ourselves. So I realized with these business coaches, it is not always about what I do. It's about who I am. It's about how I think of myself, how I hold myself. What is it that how do I identify? Who do I identify as? I was always in the hustle. I was always missing weekends with my family. I was always missing dinners. It was 80 plus hours a week. I was exhausted. I was tired. It felt hard. It felt hard because I was holding on to the identity of someone who's not worthy of a great big business. And so I have something to prove. And when I have that business, then I'll be worthy. That feels hard. When I hold the identity of I'm worthy now. I am great at this. This doesn't have to be different. I maybe once didn't have enough money to pay my bills, but that's a story that no longer serves me. I have nothing to prove to anybody. I maybe once felt this way about myself or had to act this way because it was something that served me. That story no longer serves me. So I had to really kind of dig deep into that. What is it that's holding me back? So what we know is there's these like 2 different energies. And when I talk about the different energies, I talk about the feminine and the masculine. And I don't mean the men and the women. I don't mean, and actually I'm going to say to the women in the room, like, your femininity is your superpower. I mean, truly, we don't have to, be masculine and be hardcore and all the things, right? But when I'm talking about the energy, what I'm talking about is the masculine energy is the doing. And I was in the masculine energy for years. I'm going to do more to prove more. In fact, I almost wore how much I worked as a badge of honor. I work 80 hours a week. I'm writing offers at 10 o'clock at night in bed. I'm doing all this, right? And I'm hustling, hustling, hustling. And what in reality was happening is I was missing weekends with my kids. I was missing dinner. I was missing bedtime. I was stressed. I was halfway in, halfway out. One time my son said to me, he was talking to me and he said, "Mom, repeat to me what I just said." And I could not do it. Because I was in the hustle. I was somewhere else. I wasn't present. Constantly under stress. And if a lot of you probably understand what I'm talking about. A lot of you probably showed up because of that. So I'm talking about identity. Now, when I first got into Kathleen's program, and I just say that because I really had to tap into the energies, I was very resistant to get into what they would call the feminine energy. I literally just operated by, give me the playbook, tell me what to do, and consider it done. Which goes against the opposite of what I was seeking. Okay, Brooke, if you want the playbook of how to build a great business, and you want the playbook of the step-by-step to get you where you want to go, you're going to continue to have it feel hard. You're going to continue to be unfulfilled because you're going to do it from the identity, the version of yourself that you define as you today, to do something bigger than what you already are. So that would be hard. So the best thing I learned, and what I wish I had known 15 years ago when I got into real estate, was to do the feminine work first, change the identity, understand who I need to be first, and embody that in order to have the results that I desire. So let's think about this. There's a couple examples, okay? So let's say in your real estate business, for some reason, when people start in their real estate career, and I'll say, okay, what is it that you desire? For some reason, some of you in other parts of the world might be like, what? Like, because I understand that money is just energy and we all have a different cost of living. But within the states that I usually coach in, what I hear from people is my first goal is I want to earn 6 figures. Okay. Great. How does a 6-figure income earner then show up every day? What kind of confidence do they have with their clients and their business? What time are they getting to the office? How many people are they talking to a day? Are they holding themselves as if they are already that 6-figure income earner? Because if I've only ever made $30,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and I hold the image of me, the identity of me as a 5-figure income earner, and my desire is to make that 6 figures in my first or second year, that feels hard. That feels really hard. It feels like I just have to do more of what I'm doing, add in more hours, and I'll have more clients. When we hold that identity, same thing. If you're a 6-figure income earner and you desire to make 7, wonderful. Doing more of what you're doing to make more money feels hard. But if we look at everybody in the world, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. What makes one person different than what makes another person different? The only thing is what they tell themselves. The only thing is how they identify. Who am I today? I was really resistant to get into that feminine work, get into my imagination, decide and really kind of go deep. And the real reason why I was hesitant was because I knew that there was some ugly stories in there that I was going to uncover, and I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to expose them. I didn't want to go there. But until I did the work, I couldn't figure out what was blocking me. I had the playbook. I knew what to do. I just was identifying as something that no longer served me. Okay. So it is not that so and so has more time. It is not that so and so doesn't have kids. It is not that they live in this part of the world and I live in this part of the world. It's not that they grew up with this way and I grew up this way. It's how we identify. It's what we tell ourselves we are. And a lot of us have allowed our identity to be based off what other people tell us we are. A lot of us have decided that the outside world gets to determine who we are. I'll give you an example. 8th grade and 12th grade. Pretty defining years of someone's life, especially a young lady. I was voted class airhead. 8th grade, class airhead. Why they even had that as mock elections is beyond me. But I was voted class airhead. So I allowed the outside world to tell me that my identity was, you're not very smart. You're not going to do well. You're going to be broke. Stupid people, airheads, can't find a perfect life. The identity I held growing up was, I'm stupid. I had to go back and rewrite that story. Stupid? Come on now. My head was in my imagination. I was thinking about everything I want to be. I was thinking about the world I desire to live. My brain just works 3 steps faster than someone else's. I had to just write that story. I had to tell it a different story of whatever it was. Okay? Other story, single mom of 2 children. You're unlovable. No one's ever going to want to be with you. You're meant to be broke. You're going to have to sacrifice one or the other. You can either go on welfare and be home with your kids, or you can go work 80 hours a week and provide for them. Story that didn't serve me. A story of feeling unworthy in the world because I was viewed as a single mom, you poor thing. And then that turned into, I have something to prove. Because I allowed the outside world to tell me what my identity was. And the only person that really has the power to do that is us. We decide. But until we discover our truth, how we identify, and ask the question, do I believe that to be true for me? Where did that story come from? Some of us have old stories that served us maybe in our childhood and no longer serve us today, but we still are acting in that way habitually. For example, if you grew up in a house with chaos and you kept the peace in the house and you made sure everybody was happy and you didn't voice things to just kind of keep things easy, that was a behavior and a story that served you in that house to keep the chaos away from you and keep things calm. But if you created that as your identity and it became habitual, is playing small, hiding, and being a people pleaser to everyone but yourself a story that serves you today? Something to uncover, something to ask yourself. What are the stories I'm telling myself today that are no longer serving me? How do I rewrite that story? Okay, so had to change the identity. Okay, so what do I define myself as now? Well, I think I'm a pretty badass business owner. I think I'm a pretty good mom. I think I'm a loving wife. I think I'm a good leader. I think I have the ability to make an impact. But the trick is I have to be able to identify as that first before it starts showing up in my physical. A lot of us say, I'll be a good leader when people follow me. I'll identify as a 6-7 figure income earner once it's in my bank account. I'll be a loving spouse once my marriage is happy. Time out. If I want the 6-7 figure income, earner, if I want that type of business, I got to show up as that version of me first. If I want a happy marriage, I got to be nice to my spouse first. But most of us, what we're doing is we're living from what we're seeing in the present. We're living from stories in the past, and we're saying, I'll be that when I see it. What we're not realizing is that we need to be it first before we see it. That makes sense. Okay. So this is where the quantum leaps happen. This is where we have to be the version of us first of what we want. So think about your real estate business right now. Think about your life right now. Is your business funding your perfect life? Because we're all in business to fund our perfect life, right? That's what business is for. Is my business funding my perfect life? Okay. So how do I decide what my perfect life is? What do I have to do? This is going to go against a lot of what you believe. It went against a lot of what I believed. I resisted it. The most powerful tool that you have in your business and in your life is your imagination. We have to tap into our imagination because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between whether you are telling it a story from your past or whether or not you are telling a story from what you desire. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference. It's going to believe whatever you put into your subconscious mind, whatever you tell it repetitively. So we have to change the story, okay? So put in the chat on what you would define identity as. When I say the word identity, I had to identify as this. I had to identify first as the version of me of what I want. Someone tell me what identity means to you. If I say identity, the first thing that comes to mind is what? How would you define identity? Is it other people's opinions of you? Core values, yes, okay, good. How the world perceives you, okay? What else do we have? If I say identity, is it image? How you see yourself? Yes, okay, so your core values, how the world perceives you, how you see yourself, who you truly are. Yes, absolutely, who you truly are. Good. So a lot of times we say, okay, who do you identify as? And we go, I don't know. I'm gonna give you a hint. Your outside world right now is telling you what your identity is. Your outside world right now is telling you what you are, what your current identity is. Because of the law of cause and effect. So our thoughts are what will create our outside world. And a lot of us are living from the past present or the present present. Okay. So for me, I was living in my past present. This is how I identify. So I have something to prove. And so this feels hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'll slow down once I've proven it. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. crazy. But my outside world was showing up as the way I identified myself. I identified myself as not being smart. So what actions did I take? Why even try? I'm not gonna be able to accomplish it anyway. Okay. What identity do I hold? I'll give you a great example of my coach, Kathleen. I'm going to talk to her about her. I'm not like promoting anything, I promise you, but she's just been a game changer, and I just wish I knew this information before, and I coach a lot on it. She held the identity for a very long time that in order to be successful, she needed to be thin. And so she always was dieting, and her worth was basically put on the number of the scale. And if she felt really good and healthy that day, then she felt worthy of growing a beautiful business. Until she did the inner work and went, whoa, my weight is holding me back from growing a business and being seen. So she started looking for signs. Oprah. Kelly Clarkson. All these beautiful women doing great, amazing things. And she went, that's not the truth. That's just a story that I was telling myself. Who says you have to be a certain size in order to have the successful business that you desire? Who says you have to be a certain sex? Who says you have to be a certain age? Who says you have to be married and with, a beautiful, amazing, beautiful, like white picket fence family in order to have success, which is the story I believed myself because I was holding myself back because I'm a single mom. The weight thing is a big thing for women. The age thing is a big thing for women. I want you to start asking yourself, who says? Where did I believe that story? Why did I believe that story? Did that come from somewhere else or society, or did that come from me? Did I believe a bullshit story that does not serve me? And now I am allowing that to define my identity. So what I want, Carly, you would put in the chat, the outside world. That's how we identify identity. Yes. Until. Yes, until. Because the outside world is just reflecting back to you what you identify as. It's just showing up in the way that you expect it to show up. Because we're always going to see what we're looking for. Always. So if we have the identity of age doesn't matter, I can do whatever I want. Size doesn't matter, I can do whatever I want. My past stories, the fact that I was a single mom, the fact that I felt hard, the fact that I was like voted class airhead not once but twice. I don't have to hang on to those stories anymore. I don't have to believe them. And when I start rewriting the story and I start believing what it is that I tell myself about my life, my business, what I'm worthy of, and who I am, the outside world starts to reflect that back to you. Every time. So what we decide will be our truth will be our truth. But it starts here and here. Every time. It has to. Okay. So we want to cover, who am I? How do I feel? How do I think? And if there's something blocking me, I need to uncover that so I can rewrite that story. Because all we're doing is compiling stories that determine our truth about us. That's it. For a lot of us, it could come from politics, religion, societal pressures. For most of us, until we decide what this is, it comes from before even the age of 7 or 8. Because when we're young, we know the feeling in the house. We know, we hear the stories, we have the vibration in the house, we feel the energy, we're paying attention to how people in the household are talking to each other and to us, the tone, the dominant feeling in the household. And that becomes a part of who we are before we even have the consciousness to say, do I believe this? Does this have to be my truth? Because we have no filter in the conscious mind before the age of 7 or 8 to question it. So those are hardened into fact for you until you decide different, until you ask, is this my truth? Is this something I have to believe that serves me? So we want to see, where do those come from? Okay. All right. So a lot of you are like, Brooke, I came in here to get like the skills and the processes for real estate. You're going to. But I want you to know this is the work that needs to be done first. This is the work I wish that I had known about 15 years ago. So it didn't feel hard. It feels hard if we're identifying as something that is not in alignment with what it is we desire. So we're going to get into alignment with what we desire first. We're going to get into our imagination. And then everything we talk about after this, you're going to be like, done. Because let's be real here. Every single one of you in this room know how to run a real estate business. You all know how to sell real estate. So I could give you one more skill. I could give you one more system. I could give you a playbook, which a lot of you have, right? We got the playbook for housewarming parties. If you didn't, let me know. I could give you all that. But if we're not identifying as the person who has a successful business and the life by design that we desire, and we aren't defining and seeing what it is that's blocking us, none of that matters. It's just more information. Like, who cares? I'm not going to put it to use anyway. Makes no difference. It's like having a full library of books and going, oh yeah, I read that already. Oh yeah, I read that already. Oh, yep, know that. Okay, great. How well do you do it? Oh, no, I just know. What good does that have on your life? None. Walking piece of knowledge that does nothing about it. Right, so we got to see what's blocking us. Why am I not doing that? Okay, so the power of imagination. Most are living from the present past or the present present, meaning they're continuing to tell themselves the old stories that no longer serve them, or they don't even know the power of the mind, and so they're looking at their current circumstances, and that is what's going into the mind, into the subconscious mind, and coming out. And that's when we start living Groundhog's Day. Everything looks the same. Same day, same day, same day, and we don't know why. We don't know why. So why are we gonna get into our imagination? I love it when I hear stories or even talking to people who are like, I say 30, but 30 seems so young now. So like they hit like 40, 50, 60, right? And you go, yeah, hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's going. I'm alive. Good. Life is good. Not anywhere where I thought I'd be at this time. Great. Where'd you think you'd be at this time? Don't know, but not here. So you didn't know where you wanted to be, but you didn't think you'd be here. Yep. Thought I'd be a lot further along by this time. Where'd you think you'd be? Don't know. Just not here. That's like saying, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to drive west. Cool, Brooke, where are you going to go? I don't know. I'm just going to drive west. Like, are you going to go to Lake Michigan? Or are you gonna go see your like in-laws in Carbondale, Colorado? Right? Like, how far west are you going? Don't know. Just gonna drive. And then I complain about where I'm at and say, didn't think I'd be here. Like, that's just insanity. But think about that. So many people are living that way. You wake up and you go, not even nowhere near where I thought I'd be. So what was the destination? Don't know. Just not here. What is that? Okay. So what we're going to do is first we're going to define where we are going. What do you want? And I'm going to call it our dream come true vision. What do you want? Because coaching is truly taking you from where you are right now to where you want to go. But in order to know where we're going, we have to know what the destination is. And the thing I want you to know is that it never ends. So picture yourself like in a tunnel. And you have a flashlight. You're walking down this dark tunnel, you have a flashlight. And all you can see is how far the light is going to take you. Okay? We're going to define our dream come true vision for our business, for our life, for everything that we want by as far as we can see the light goes. And we're going to define it that way. And then we're going to walk towards it. And then as we continue to walk, we get to see further. And then we get to see further. And then we get to see further. And that's how the quantum leaps happen. Because we start asking ourselves, okay, in order for me to be there, who do I first need to be? How do I need to show up? How do I need to show up? Okay? All right. So we're going to create our dream come true vision. And I want you to start thinking about this in a way of not what should I have, not what do other people want for me, not what does the world tell me I should want. I want you to create your dream come true vision based off what you want. What do you want? And that's going to be different for everybody. Some of us want to retire. Some of us want to be the #1 agent in our market. Some of us want to use real estate as the vehicle to maybe have a coaching business. Some of us just want passive income. And so we're going to want 40 investment properties. I don't know. What do you want your business to look like? Who would you love to work with? How many hours a day would you love to work? When would you like the cutoff time to be? How many clients would you like to serve? What kind of clients would you like to serve? What is that dream come true vision? What does it look like for you? So we're going to go out as far as we can see. We're going to get into our imagination. Stop worrying about what the world is telling you it should look like. Stop worrying about, oh, well, I should have been retired. Now I'm 60 years old and, society tells me I shouldn't be working anymore. Call BS on that. If you love what you're doing and you're defining your life, you do it. Oh, well, I've got kids at home. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have this, beautiful job. If that's what you want, you do it. If you want to stay home with your kids, you figure that out too. What do you want? Okay, what do you want? So in order, though, to be able to have that, first we have to become a vibrational match to it. What do I mean when I say vibrational match? Someone put it in the chat. When I say first, in order to have it, I have to first and do the activity, I have to become a vibrational match. When I say a vibrational match, some of you are like, ooh, okay, she's going a little nuts right now. But if you stick with me, that's okay. Why do I say that? Because I thought that too. Okay, vibrational match, manifest. Okay, so in order to manifest, great, I love that you said that, Ashley. In order for me to manifest what I want, I first need to be a vibrational match to it. That's how we manifest. By the way, manifest, if that's a weird word for you, just know that everything in your life right now that you're looking at, that you feel, that you hold, that you are doing, you have manifested that. Okay? Be what you want. Be a vibrational match to the version of you that you want, right? So we have to get into our imagination and we have to feel it. Our vibration is our feeling. So we have to feel it. We have to see it, we have to hold the vision, and then we have to get into the feeling of that wish fulfilled. And some of you might be saying, no, Brooke, you don't understand. Like, I wanted to sell 15 million last year, and that didn't work out. I set a goal and it, no. Or, Brooke, you don't get it. Here's what I want to say about being a vibrational match. If you're complaining about where you are, if you're comparing yourself to everybody else, if you're feeling less than, you're going to be a vibrational match to that. So when you say, oh, well, I wanted to do 15 million, but the market was just so tough. What are you a vibrational match to? The market's tough. Oh yeah, but you don't understand. So and so and so and so, and that got in the way, and I'm just gonna spend my time gossiping about it and complaining about it and other people and comparing myself to what everybody else did. What am I doing when I do that? I'm a vibrational match to that. Whatever we complain about is what we are a vibrational match to. God, the universe, source, whatever it is that you believe. And if you believe in nothing, fine too. It'll just be a little bit of a harder road, right, to get where you want to go. But your actions will always be in line with what it is that you believe to be true for you. So if you believe, well, I wanted to do 15 million, but the market was really bad, I am going to behave in a manner of, well, the market's really bad. Why bother? Oh, well, we'll just write like a crummy offer anyway. Not going to get it. Someone's going to come and beat us. Okay. That's what we're a vibrational match with. So that's how we show up. That's how we act. Well, you know how many times I hear people say, I just don't want to bug my family and friends. It's not, that's like an excuse. I just don't want to bug people. Okay, well, listen, sister, if your friends and family are moving anyway, and you are not who they think of, you have no right to complain if they don't use you. So we want to be a vibrational match to be like, absolutely, all my friends and family use me for real estate. Why would they? I'm the best person for the job. I have a relationship with them. I lead with the relationship. Of course, you know who they think of. Absolutely. Someone's going to help them buy and sell when they're ready. It's not up to me to decide for them when they're ready, but when they're ready, 100%, I am who they come to. They know I'm the real estate expert. They know I care about them. I lead with the relationship. I hold myself in the manner of absolutely everyone I know uses me. A little bit of a different energy. You're going to talk to people differently. Hold yourself different. You're going to put that in your imagination. Okay? So we want to get really specific on what it is that we want. And I want you to come from a place without lack. Okay? So as we're deciding what it is we want, we don't want to go into a place of, yeah, but I tried that before. Yeah, but if I outgrow people, my friends might be mad at me and I might lose them. Yeah, but I'll be really judged. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to show people that I'm in real estate. I'm going to ask people if they have anyone that they know who's ready to buy or sell in the next 12 months. And oh my gosh, if they tell me no, I'm going to feel like a loser. I'm going to feel like a failure. So when we're defining what we want, what we don't want to do is come from a place of the yeah buts, right? The thought behind the thought is really what the thought behind the thought, if that makes sense. Okay. So we don't want to build up what you think you should want. You're going to build a vision of what you do want. Okay. The law of assumption tells us that what we believe to be true will always be true. We believe to be true will always be true. Josh must be in my Zoom because it's really weird looking at this with a picture of myself right in the middle. But anyway, that's okay. Distraction. That's what happens. We just roll with it in here, right? Like we're just gonna like whatever. No scripts, no nothing. Literally nothing. I just like so okay. Law of assumption tells us that what we believe to be our truth will always be our truth. Okay. So I want us to start thinking about when we're doing this journaling and we're creating this picture of this vision of what it is that we want. I want you to think about the little luxuries too of what you're going to enjoy. Okay. What do you want? Are you going to take Fridays off? Are you going to take a spa day? Where are you going to vacation? What car do you want to drive? What kind of clients do you want to work with? Who do you want to work with? Do you want to have a team? What does it feel like to walk? If recognition and awards is important to you, what does it feel like to walk across stage with it? Okay. What does it feel like to be recognized in Top Producing Magazine as a top producer? What does it feel like to see that? Why is that important to you? Recognition is important to a lot of realtors. If it's not important to you, great. There's no right or wrong here. Whatever is important to you is what it is. You're like, I just want freedom. I just want vacation. I just want to work from anywhere. What are the little like? I'm really philanthropic. I want to give to my charity of choice in a really big way. What does that feel like? So we really want to get into what are the luxuries. Okay. There are things that you can do now to harden those little luxuries as fact in your subconscious mind. Okay. So if I said, I'd really like to just stay in 5-star hotels, but my budget today doesn't yet allow for me to only stay in 5-star hotels. I could get as close to that as possible. I could go to a coffee shop in a 5-star hotel. I could sit in the lobby of a 5-star hotel and work. I could walk outside. I could enjoy all of the luxuries. I could get as close to it as possible to have that ingrained in my subconscious mind that this is who I am. If you're like, I really want to give to this charity, or I really want to be a giving person, don't wait until you have the ability to give big. Where are you giving now? What are you capable of doing now? Get as close to that as possible. You want to drive the Maserati or the G-Wagon? Hello? Yes. Go test drive it. Get behind the wheel. Smell the leather. Feel the power. You want a beach house in Malibu? Don't stay at hotels. Stay in Airbnbs. Have the feeling. Get as close to it as possible. Does that make sense? Oh, Brooke, no, it's so far-fetched. Like the life I want of luxury and the life I desire is just so far away. Get as close to it as possible. Your brain will not know the difference. Harden that into fact. All right. So it's what it's going to do is all of your persistence is going to show you that you're growing. I call it signs of land. Okay. So signs of land is I'm out in the ocean. I'm like, oh, I'm out in the ocean. What would be a sign of land for me if I'm looking for land and I'm out in the ocean lost? birds flying over me, maybe logs in the water, maybe waves towards one way, sign of land. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so much closer to that. Look at that. That's amazing. Right? Look at that. I just had this client call me. That's a sign. Business is turning around. Everything is really great. Ooh, that one was really easy. That was really good. I just got this new tip. That was really fun. We're going to look for signs of land to prove ourselves right, because here's what we do. Now, I want you to think about this. We have to start retraining our brain. They say, like, for parents and teachers, I think the ratio is like you have to give like 8 compliments to make up for 1 insult. Something like that, like something crazy. Because what we do is we believe all the negative, and then something positive happens, or we see that we're on our way and we go, ah, it had to be a coincidence. I'm gonna believe everything else is bad, and I'm gonna have that show up as my truth. But the minute something shows up that I desire, I'm like, nah, too good to be true. Not gonna happen for me. Had to be a coincidence. No way. Someone can tell me, Brooke, I don't even know. I'll just say it. So if someone says to me, Brooke, you are so pretty, whatever, like, doesn't matter. Well, if I think I'm pretty or if I think I look good, who cares? But someone could say, Brooke, you look so pretty. Like, oh, okay. Or I might go, really? I need my hair done so bad. Oh my gosh, my braids. Oh God. Oh, and my wrinkles. Oh, don't tell me I'm pretty. I just don't feel pretty today. Oh, this little thing? I got this on sale like 90% and off at Target. And it's like, bleh, right? We're going to like rebuttal everything they say. But someone tells me, Brooke, your butt looks big today. I'm in bed for a week eating ice cream because I believe it to be true. The old version of me. No longer. Now I'm like, yeah, it is. Right? Like, good. But like, think about that. Like, we believe these things that like, we can't take compliments. But then we'll like, but when someone says something bad to us, it's like, oh, I'm ruined now. Oh my God. They told me they don't approve. That's why we gotta get so solid on what we are. That's why we gotta look for signs of land, of the evidence that things are going well. Does that make sense? We don't wanna like just concentrate on what's going wrong, because then that becomes our truth. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is I want you to get into a visualization. I want you to get into a quiet place. And I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of you workers out there, a lot of you that are working like the 80 hours a week and the nights and the weekends and all, you're like, no, I don't have time for that. I promise you, by doing this, it's what's going to make it not feel hard, and it's going to expedite your results. Slowing down goes against everything we've been taught, especially in this industry when you got to be on all the time, you got to work nights and weekends, you got to do this, you got to do that, you're at people's mercy. It goes against everything we've been taught. So the one thing we don't do is slow down and get into our imagination. And what I want you to know is that is the one thing that will help you the most. It is the one thing that will quantum leap what it is that you want. Okay, so get into a visualization of what it is you desire. What do I want my life to look like? If my business, if the purpose of my business is to fund my perfect life, what does my perfect life look like? How many days a week do I work? What time do I stop? If I work a night, what night is it? What kind of clients do I have? What kind of homes am I selling? Who do I want to work with? Do I want to have leverage? Would I love to have a transaction coordinator or an executive assistant so I can go sell and they can take care of all that stuff? Would I love to have a showing partner? Do I just want to work with sellers? someone do my work with my buyers. What would that look like? We want to make sure that we're really clear on what is it I want my business to, how much do I want to sell? Now, when you get into how much do I want to sell, I want you to then go into how am I going to allocate the dollars? How am I going to allocate the dollars? So a lot of people will say to me, from like I said, first year, second year real estate, I just want to make 6 figures. Great. Why? I don't know, it just sounds good. Like I feel like I'm supposed to. Why? How are you going to allocate that? What does that look like? What's your perfect life look like? Well, I just want to pay my bills with ease. That sounds like an exciting goal. You just want to pay your bills? Good. Let's go a little bigger than that. Because if I can have a big vision and I can say, ooh, I'm going for the beach house. I'm going for the Maserati. I'm going for the red bottom shoes. I'm going for a trip to Hawaii with my entire family. I'm going for experiences. If I'm working towards that, can I then just pay my bills with ease? Yes. I'm working for something bigger than just the luxury of being able to pay my bills. But if my big vision goal is to just pay my bills with ease, every day the goal is going to be to pay my bills. It doesn't sound like a filled life. That's kind of when we wake up and go, I just work every day to pay my bills, and now I'm nowhere where I thought I would be. So what do you really, really want? What do you want? Allow yourself to go there. So we're talking, what do I want my business to look like? And then what is it that I would love to earn? And then how is that going to fund my perfect life? How am I going to allocate those dollars? What does that look like? Okay. All right. So then what we're going to do, we're going to journal that. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to see what is it that I desire. And then once I'm able to define where I'm going for the vision I can see, my dream come true vision. Anyone want to take a gander on what comes next? Then what do we have to do? Go ahead and put it in the chat. If I want to have this, I've already told you, you gotta be it. You've gotta be it. Yes, thank you, Jan. That's where we're going to create the identity. Okay, that's where we're going to create the identity of the version of you who already has what you desire. So you say, oh, but I would just love to have a spa day every Friday. Great. How do I be that today on the income I have? Take a Friday afternoon and go get a pedicure. Or soak in the tub at your house that costs nothing. Do something for self-care. I'd love to go on a vacation and stay in a five-star hotel. Great. Go sit in the coffee shop or the lobby there. Okay. How do I be the version of that today? I would love to be philanthropic and give to a great big organization. Great. Am I giving today? How do I be the version? And not just through my actions, how do I think and feel? How do I hold the identity of the person who already has it? All right, I'm going to give you an example of my personal life. So I held the identity for years. Broke, broken, not worthy of love. Okay, so this is a personal life example. And so I was attracting people in my life that I felt I had to prove myself to. I was attracting relationships that felt hard. I desired a healthy relationship. I desired love, but never did I actually get into the feeling of it. Never did I actually get into the desired end result in my imagination. And when I started, I was like, holy crap. There's no chaos in this feeling. There's no unworthiness in this feeling. There's no waking up every day wondering if today is the day that someone's going to decide that they don't love me or I don't love them. There's no wishy-washy. So I had to get into the feeling of healthy love, unconditional love, no chaos, right? In order to then be the person that wouldn't be afraid of that when it showed up. Because whether we know it or not, our jobs in our bodies are the minute we feel like off or scared or afraid, we go, oh, something's not right. I gotta go. Well, that means what we're going to do, whether it's healthy for us or not, whether it's what we desire or not, if we don't get into our imagination and feel the feeling and be the version, it's going to feel unfamiliar. And unfamiliar feels threatening to us. We sabotage our success in our business through the same way. We sabotage our lifestyle. We sabotage what it is that we desire. I might want to lose 20 pounds, I don't know. But if I identify as a person who's overweight and I want to lose 20 pounds, that feels hard. If I change the identity and I get into my imagination as a person of health, because I become healthy decisions feel easier. So it's tapping into the identity first. So the example of the relationships, yes, I'm 45. I just got married this year. Okay? But I had to change my thinking on that. I was attracting relationships that were chaotic. I was attracting relationships that felt hard because my identity said that that's what they were. So I had to get into my imagination and feel the feeling so that when it showed up in my physical world, it no longer felt unfamiliar. It no longer frightened me. It was something that I had seen in my imagination long before. The ironic thing was that I became that. I became that love. I didn't need it when it showed up. I was it already. I was healthy. I loved myself. I didn't need it. So I wasn't attached to the outcome, and that's when it showed up. When we say I need, universe, God, source says, oh, here's more of you need. Keep on needing. I need this. I need this to be worthy. I need this to have a fulfilling life. I need. So what we want to do is first we want to be really grateful for what we have. I am so happy and grateful. I'm so happy and grateful for the love that I do have in my life. I am so happy and grateful for the business and the clients that I have already. I am so happy and grateful for the roof over my head, for the clean water that I have in my house. And I would love to experience this. I'm not attached to it, but I would love it. Because I'm enough without it. I'm good. I'm good. When you're good and you can get into that identity, but I would love to have this, I would love to experience this, I would love to do this, it's when it starts showing up. But you got to get in your imagination so it's not unfamiliar. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get to know who we are. We have to know who we are. I said coaching is taking you from here to where you want to go. Well, first we got to know what's here. Okay? So you're going to do the journaling and you're going to say, all right, how do I see myself today? Put your name in front of it. Brooke is a woman who. Ashley is a woman who. Jason is a man who. Okay? And on the surface, what you're going to do is you're going to go, yeah, I'm a realtor. I'm a mom. I'm a friend. Huh? What else? You're going to set some music. I do like piano. I really get into my imagination. I take the pen to the paper and I actually set a timer. And I'm going to encourage you to do this. Set a timer for like 15 or 20 minutes. Because what it does, I'm going to set the timer with the idea that that's when you stop. I want you to set the timer to make sure that you go as long as it at least. Because when you put the pen to the paper and you allow yourself to get into your imagination, you really start thinking about, who do I believe I am to be true? And you keep writing, things will come out. So it's going to look really beautiful at first because you're going to put all the surface stuff. I'm a realtor, I'm a mom, I live here, I do this, all the outside stuff. But then you're going to start to go, Brooke is a woman who feels a little insecure in this situation. Brooke is a woman who really puts her worth on this. Brooke is a woman, and you're going to start telling yourself things about from your past. Brooke is a woman who was voted class airhead. Brooke is a woman who is very smart. Brooke is a woman who feels broken. I can put all the things out there on the surface in the beginning, but when I really start digging, this is the work that a lot of us avoid, and then we wonder why we're not getting the results that we desire, right? We have to uncover the stories that we're telling ourselves that are not serving us. What is the story that you're telling yourself that is not serving you? And some of you are saying, Brooke, what does this have to do with real estate? Everything. Everything. How you see yourself is how you act everywhere. And if there are stories that you are telling yourself that are no longer serving you, you have to define what those stories are. You have to uncover them. And I'm going to also say to you that this work never stops. Every time I decide I want something else, I have to decide, I have to determine the story that I'm telling myself that's no longer, that doesn't serve me to get there, to recreate that identity. What does it look like? All right, so we're going to get into that. Now, the idea of getting into that is not to shame yourself. It's not to stay there. It's to identify. Okay, we're going to just say, whoa, who says? That story doesn't serve me anymore. Okay, time to recreate that story. So any story that you uncover, ask yourself, who says? Who says? Is that true? Is that my truth? Do I believe that? And then I want you to go ahead and I want you to say, okay, what are the beliefs that I hold about myself that are holding me back from achieving my end result vision of what I desire in my business and in my life? What are those beliefs that I'm holding about me? And define them. And then we're going to rewrite the story. We're going to rewrite it. I'm a people pleaser. Okay, I worry about whether or not people are mad at me. Where'd that come from? Well, when I was young, if I did this or whatever, my parents were mad at me. Okay, I'm going to give myself grace on that one. That's a story that once served me. That's an action that I took that once maybe served me. That's not my truth, by the way, but I'm just using it as an example. That's a story that once served me. No longer serves me. I can rewrite that. There's a woman who's confident in herself. Or there's a woman who has the ability to know that she is worthy of all things good, regardless of what someone else says about it. Brooke understands that she can't make anyone feel a certain way. That's up to them. Okay, we're gonna rewrite that story. Oh, I don't have a college education, so I can't build the business that I want. Let's rewrite that story. Whatever it is that doesn't serve you, okay? There's always gonna be a higher level of faith. There's always gonna be a higher level of gratitude. There's always gonna be a higher level. So every time you redefine what it is that you desire, there's gonna be a higher level of that, okay? So ask yourself, once you do this and you identify what are the stories holding you back, let's rewrite those stories. And those are the new truths of the I am. That's the new identity. We've defined what can hold us back. We're defining what can block us, and we're just saying, okay, this is the identity of it. All right. When you hold the new belief of who you are and you fuse it with action, that's when the quantum leap happens. That's when the quantum leap happens. So if you say, I would love to sell $10 million this year. Okay. Why haven't I done it before? Great. These are the stories that I'm telling myself that no longer serves me. This is the identity I hold. This is the new identity. I'm a woman who is worthy of selling 10 million. I'm a woman who takes Fridays off. I'm a woman who works with clients that love and support her and are loyal to her. I'm a woman who is bold. I'm a woman who understands the market and can explain it very clearly. I'm a woman who takes risks and put myself out there. Who do I need to be in order to accomplish the goal that I desire to be? Then we can't stay there. We actually have to be it. If you say I am bold, take bold action. If you say I take Friday afternoons off, take Friday afternoons off. Oh, but Brooke, you don't understand. People need to see homes. If you already had a listing appointment scheduled for Friday afternoon, you would figure out how to still get that person in that house. Right? So we want to make sure that we're fusing it with action. Okay, so we're going to act this way now. Okay, so one question that I ask myself all the time is, if I'm starting to see my results be slow, you have to ask yourself, am I making the decision of how I'm acting, how I'm being, who it is that I am today, as the version of me from the end result that I've decided of what it is that I desire, or the version of me who got me to where I am today? Because we have to be that. So ask yourself that all the time. Am I, let's say you said, I want to make 7 figures. I don't know what part of the world you're in, right? So I'm going to make 7 figures. Great. Am I making this decision on the 7-figure self that I am? Am I acting as a 7-figure version of me that I am? Maybe it's 6 figures. I don't know what it is for you, right? Am I acting that way? Or am I acting as the version of me who got me to where I am? What you're going to find is it's just the identity that you hold. You don't have to change who you are. It's just becoming the version of you that's already got that desired end result. It's not changing anything. It's becoming aware and then being. So I don't want you to do this and think, I'm broken, I need fixing. That's not what this is. This is, now I'm more aware of what I desire, and I'm aware of what's held me back. And this is the opportunity for me to step into that higher version of me. That's all. Don't look at this and go, oh man, all those years wasted. Oh man, no judgment. No looking at and saying, I wish I had. It's just saying, this is a great opportunity for me to identify what held me back. This is a great opportunity for me to step into that new version. When you start to feel contrast, I'm going to talk about this for a minute, and then we're going to just talk about the assignment, and then we're going to let you go. I can't believe it. It's already been an hour. When you step into what it is that you want, I want you to understand something. There's a law of opposites. okay? And once you identify what it is that you desire, the opposite will always show up first. You will experience contrast because now you're aware of it. It may have been there before, but you didn't see it as contrast. You didn't feel it as contrast. But the opposite of what you desire is always going to show up first. So understand that, okay? Think of it like this. I'll use an example that Neil Donald Walsch uses in his books. So you say, like, think of a light, a candle. Okay, I'm gonna light a candle. Anyone ever try and like build a fire? Like we just tried to do a fire out on our deck, right? But we couldn't see the flames. It was on, it was hot, but we couldn't see the flames of the light. Why? It wasn't dark outside. It was light outside. So you say, I'm gonna burn a candle and it's gonna be in bright light in the sunlight. You can't see the flame. You can't know how bright it is when it's in the light. You have to go into darkness first to see how light that shines. So the contrast is going to show up first. You have to go into the darkness to feel it, to see the light. You have to see it. And you're going to look at that contrast and say, this is an opportunity for me to step into the version of what I desire. Not, this is the time for me to back down. Oh, that's a sign. I'm not cut out to do this. I can't do that. No, it's an opportunity to say, that's a sign of land. I know the contrast is going to show up before the result. It has to, has no choice. It's a universal law of opposites. You can't know tall until you know short. And all you're doing is comparing it to something else. You can't know fat or whatever without thin. You can't know wealth without knowing the feeling of poor. The other thing to realize is that everything is relative. So if you really want to make yourself feel good about where you're at, don't compare yourself to someone who already has more. Everything's relative. The only reason that you might feel like your business isn't where you desire it to be is very likely because you're comparing it to someone else's business that you do desire. The only reason that you feel a certain way about yourself or about your identity is because you're comparing it to something else. So that contrast happens when your outside world is not aligned with what you desire. So just know that it's going to show up. So I want us to become better observers. I want us to become better at just defining, like, okay, this is the contrast. I'm still going to hold the identity. I don't have to get involved like emotionally into the feeling of that. All right. Am I making the decision of who I am? All right. So what we're going to do for tomorrow is I want you to step into your imagination. And I want you to ask yourself, what is it I desire? And I want you to ask yourself, what is it I desire, not just in my business. The purpose of business is to fund the perfect life. What do I want? By the way, there's no right or wrong. If you believe it's right or wrong, ask yourself, who says? Why do I feel that's wrong? The desire. Okay? What do I want? What do I want this to look like? How far can I see for myself? And then we're going to say, okay, I'm going to journal on the identity. Brooke is a woman who. And I'm going to uncover all the good things that I can keep the same, because we all have really beautiful qualities. And then I'm also going to discover the stories without judgment of what held me back. What could hold me back? I have to uncover those stories in order to rewrite them. I have to uncover those stories to see what could possibly block me. And then we're going to rewrite that story. We're going to rewrite it in a manner of, now this is who I am. Now this is the identity I'm stepping into. Now this is the version of me who does. And make sure that you ingrain in your head, the have does not come first. The be comes first. Meaning, who do I need to be? What do I need to do in order to have what I desire? So many people have that backwards. Once I have it, I'll be it. So we're going to work from our imagination. We're going to work in our present future. And then we're going to fuse the two. Okay? So this might have gone against a little bit of what you thought you were going to get today, but I promise you it's the one thing that has absolutely changed everything for me. And I wish I knew it 15 years ago before I built a business. I very much wish I knew this. So we're going to start here. Then we're going to get into all the other good stuff that's going to totally rock your world and change it. Promise you. Okay? Okay. So we're actioning it a little early today, which is great. Maybe plan on an hour and a half each day. I always do 2 just so we have it blocked off. I also would love for you to have 2 because I would love for you to do this work now while it's fresh. All right. So instead of having us do it together, instead of having to block the 2 hours off, but understand we might end that half hour earlier in order to give you the time to actually do it, because nothing changes unless we actually embody this work. Having the knowledge of it does not change things. So don't be like, oh, half hour early, done. Do it and come back tomorrow with a great idea of what you desire, what the new identity is that you hold, and we'll move from there. We're going to put it all in place. We're going to make space to be this version of us. Make space for it. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Okay? Anyone have any questions that they need answered before we say our goodbyes? Let's see, I got a message here. Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Okay, wonderful. If you guys have any questions or need anything, reach out to me. Do this, and then you're going to be in for it for the next couple of days. I'm really excited for you. This is going to change a lot. So enjoy. Have fun with it. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.